I'm trying. My camera's disabled by you.
Did you get the email about the memorial?
Yes, I don't know if I'll be able to go.
Oh, okay, I know that. I just
You
want to
want me
make
to
sure
try
it's. I'm sorry, replies. Hello, it's behind the scenes. They just want to make sure I know everybody wants to be in the comments. Just want to make sure people.
Okay, everybody, let's begin our meditation. Let's see where we are. I may have to move up. Yes, I do. Good morning and welcome to the Centers for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore. My name is Frank Mastoris. I am the practitioner and speaker for the day. I am also a minister in training, and I will be doing this meditation. Allow yourself to easily and effortlessly and gently close your eyes, sinking into your chair. And allow yourself just to take a deep breath in and release. Allowing yourself to sink even deeper. Take a second deep breath in and release. Take a third deep breath in and releasing at your own pace. Move inward to the most comfortable part of your body. And just allow yourself to invite God into your awareness, whatever that might be for you. For some people, God shows up as a light in their vision. For some people, it could be a sensation. And some people have no actual sense or connection or feeling to God, but just know that it's there, deep within you, ready to be born into your awareness. Ask it a simple question. One simple question. What must I release to go deeper? What must I embrace to completely experience the pure love of God within? and allow yourself to sink into it, the pure love and bliss of God. There's no obstruction to it. The only obstruction might be in your awareness. But sink into the utter love and the utter bliss of God. There's no barrier. There's only love leading the way. If you can't get there, just knock at the door. Just knock at the door of utter bliss, love. And let the door open. And allow yourself just to feel it. Whatever you've experienced within yourself, just remember it. Hold on to it. And bring it forward into this very moment, in this very room, in this very space where we are. and feel the chair you're seated on. And open your eyes and be present in the room where we are. In this very space. Where the love is. Where community is. Where peace is. Where God is. As each and every one of us. Where God is. In the very air we breathe. Where God is. In the very body we exist in. And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you.
Honestly. There we go.
It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time to say good morning.
Good
Thank
morning.
you. Good morning, Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore. Let us open our celebration by ringing the bowl, which will be followed by our invocation song by our guest musician, Dana Cole, who is also our producer today, and our invocation by Frank Mastoris, our practitioner of the day. Well, that was tinny.
Could you talk some more, please?
Of course I can talk. What do you want me to talk about? I
Great,
can talk
it's
about
coming through. I just wanted to make sure that just wanted to make sure that the sound was coming through.
Did the sound of the bell come through?
Good morning. My name is Frank Mastoris. I am the practitioner and actually speaker for the day as well. So let's begin with an invocation. And for those of you who are new to religious science, an invocation is a opening prayer. And I'll try to keep you all included as to what we're doing into less jargon. Okay. So we know that there truly is one power, one presence, one life, one joy, one expression that is everywhere present, and we choose to call it God because, well, we have no other name for it. It could go by any name. It could go by Allah, Buddha, the Christ, Shiva, whatever name you want to call it. It is that presence. And knowing this to be the truth, I know that God is present here and in this service. I know that the divine perfection of God expresses in all things, through all things, and as all things. I know that this service is done in divine perfection. Everything that needs to be learned is learned, everything that needs to be done is done perfectly, and everything that happens in divine right order. And for this, I am so grateful. And I release this knowing it's done in mind and form. And so it is.
So it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I believe this is your turn.
Yes, sir. So I have to laugh. We had a little pray-in before we started getting set up, or after we got things set up this morning. And Mary Ann used the word perfectly imperfect. And that phrase is going to stick with me all day long, because I just look at things and think, it may look perfect, but somewhere there's a imperfection. And it may look imperfect, but we all know it really is perfect. So it's that, I just thought that was really, really nice. So thanks for that little bit of inspiration, Mary Ann. Let me... Thank you so much, Frank. Thank you so much, Dana, for sharing your talents with us. I'm going to share a little bit about Dana later on in service, but I do want to welcome you to the Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore, virtual service, in-person service, depending on how you're engaging in this process. I want to thank you for joining us from whenever and wherever you are, whenever you may watch this, if you're doing it virtually on Facebook. And I want to introduce myself. I am your host for the day, and I'm the board president. My name is Robin Fahrenholt. And our speaker and practitioner today is Frank. Isn't that cool that he's taken on all kinds of roles. And Frank is a minister that's in training, so he has to do sermons. You're going to see a lot of Frank in the next year. I can guarantee you we're going to suck everything we can to get all his knowledge and talent and spirituality. And our musician and producer today is Dana. So thank you. Well, you know what? It's Sunday, your church, and every Sunday is an invite a friend or bring a family member Sunday at the Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore. You know, we want to spread the center's love and light and joy. So all are welcome here. And that's one of the things I love about this teaching. I mean, the emphasis on diversity and inclusion and equity. Those are things that are very, very high values for this teaching. So we would love for them to hang out with us, and they are always welcome. This is the first Sunday in the month of March. And it's also one of my favorite part of service. So we are honoring the world's religions, because regardless of what religion you grew up with, what culture you grew up in, the Science of Mind teaching can add to that. I always characterize it as what we grew up with is like a nice, rich, delicious cake. But Science of Mind is a nice, thick layer of icing, because it helps you integrate and use all those things and the flavors mixed together. So I want you to think about one tree with many branches, one mountain with many paths, one world with many religions and spiritual traditions. On this first Sunday of each month, we honor each person on their select path. It's all perfect. And we bless them and recognize the light, the love, and the self-affirming nature of spirit as it shows itself in each path, in each practice, and in each person. This is the first time I've used my laptop for following the script, because I'm trying not to kill as many trees. I'm not sure if I'm going to stay with this practice or not, but I'm going to give it a good try. So now I invite for you to read along with me as I read our sacred covenant and community prayer. What I'll do is I'll say a short phrase, and I'm going to ask you to repeat it after me, please. This is what I know. The circle of divine love is complete.
The circle of divine love is complete.
It comprehends all and includes all.
It comprehends all and includes all.
And it binds together with everlasting love.
It binds together with everlasting love.
We are forever held in love's presence and care.
We are forever held in love's presence and care.
Divine love is complete as me.
Divine love is complete as me.
I am the divine love that I am.
I am the divine love.
Yeah.
And so it is.
And our community prayer actually comes to us. We had a oh, it's a retreat, co-creation workshop, they called it, back in September of last year. And there were a number of us who did some brainstorming and some soul searching, and this is the community prayer that came out of there. What's this?
Prayer and heart work.
Prayer and heart work. That's what co-creation is all about. So again, I'll read a short phrase and I'll ask that you repeat it after me. There is only one life.
There is only one life.
This life is good.
This life is good.
This life is God.
This life is God.
This life is my life now.
This life is my life now.
And knowing that I am one
And knowing that I am one
with all its blessed expressions,
with all its blessed expressions,
which includes the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore.
which includes the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore.
I know the highest purpose of CSL Greater Baltimore
I know the highest purpose, CSL Greater Baltimore,
is a revelation of God as divine love.
with the revelation of God as divine love.
As I now accept the highest expression for CSO GB, into my life, I know it will be revealed in a way that will glorify God. Somebody have to put some it's not coming to me naturally. Let's try that again. I know it will be revealed
I know it will be revealed
in a way that will glorify God
in a way that will glorify God,
and serve the highest and greatest good
serve the highest and greatest good
for all who are touched by His presence.
for all who are touched by His presence.
And I think that is a run-on sentence. I'm sorry, but I am grateful God is gracious.
I am grateful God is gracious.
Amen, Ashe, and so it is.
Amen. And so it is.
So, now that I have butchered that for a little bit, I'm going to invite Frank back to do our reading and a spiritual practice. So, thank you for your patience. Yeah, I need some flashes in here.
Oh, we have to have fun.
Yes, we
Okay. Our reading comes from the Science of Mind textbook. And, Robin, you almost fell. It's live, honey.
Just take it over there and not bother you.
Thank you, Boo. Love you. Don't let your computer on the floor.
Call it sure.
We don't want it on the floor. And this is from page 64 of the Science of Mind textbook. God, meaning the supreme spirit or intelligence of the universe, was conscious of himself prior to the creation of any specific world system. Thus, being conscious and desiring to manifest in form, he did so manifest through the power of his word, which is law. God is not only pure spirit or intelligence, he is also perfect and immutable law. As pure spirit runs the universe through the power of his word. Hence, when he speaks, the law must obey. The law is mechanical. The word is spontaneous. God cannot speak a word which contradicts his own nature. Since God is pure intelligence and endless being, he is always creating, always creating. It is his nature to create, but being all, he must act within himself. The word of God spoken within himself sets a law which is also in himself in motion. The result is creation. The word is the mold, which acting through law produces form. And there are many words, and there are so many forms, each distinct and each individualized, an individualized idea of God. And so it is.
And so it is.
And if you're confused, I can deal with your requests in jargon later, after service. Hey, I see the smile back there. So we're going to do something a little different for our spiritual practice. We're going to chant. We take from every tradition. Chanting is a way of connecting deeper within to God within. The Buddhists use the word Om, which they believe to be the God sound. Enkinkar believes Hu is the God sound. In religious science, we have a statement that we chant. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect, and that life is my life now. So we're going to chant that for a few minutes. The whole purpose is to take us deeper. We are a tradition, a spiritual group, and more. When we get beyond the surface, the reality is to connect to God within you. Not me, but for each of us to connect to God within ourselves. So let's start that. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. In other traditions, such as if you came from the Catholic tradition, they used the rosary as a means of prayer. I grew up in the Catholic tradition, and I used the rosary as a means of meditation. It became my chant and my way to get deeper into spirit. So from whatever spiritual path you come from, you can bring whatever you came with or whatever you didn't come with. The whole purpose is to go deeper into God itself. Okay. Is it time for reading?
Yes.
Thank you. For a sermon? Okay.
Nope, not time for a sermon. We're going to have another song. Dana,
Okay, sorry.
Dana's
I forgot my script.
That's all right.
Sorry about that, Dana.
You don't have the magic little tablets.
Well, you're right, I don't. I need to get my own version of the magic little tablet.
The thing about chanting like that is you'll remember that forever. After you say it 20 times, it gets into your memory in a way that it'll stick with you. And if you think about that last line, this life is my life now, you only have this moment. You only have this breath. You only have this heartbeat. So at this time, if you believe you're perfect in that heartbeat, in that breath, so be it. So that's the way I look at it. Because it sounds kind of arrogant to say, you know, my life is God's life. Well, in this second, I can tell you mine is. So that's the way it rolls. What a neat person I'm going to get to introduce here. Somebody I truly love and admire. Because our next musical selection is coming from our guest musician, Dana Cole. Dana is a practitioner here at the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore, and she has a lifelong love of music, having played the flute from 4th grade through college. As you can tell, it comes very natural to her. And it's so, I love flute music. She's performed in musical theater and reviews and with musical groups as diverse as hip-hop bands, the symphonic or bands. It's so, she's so diverse. It's just like so amazing. She was introduced to Science of Mind in 2012 and picked up her flute again. She is pleased to share her music with her beloved community. So I introduce to you somebody who I truly consider my sister. She calls me Boo, which I consider a term of honor. Dana Cole. What would you like?
For you to come here. Take your. Yes.
See that? See that catch?
Thank you.
Yes.
Hit the play button when I get up there.
Where?
All right, folks. So this is my second time performing with Center for Spiritual Living, and so I'm very excited. I've decided that I'm going to delve more into the music business itself, but also to perform more. So thank you for the opportunity. This song is by Stevie Wonder, and I just read when I was looking for what I need to sing it, somebody wrote, this might be the greatest love song ever written. And Stevie Harvey even said, this song is like, it's the best song a man is telling a woman. I mean, you know how Steve Harvey is. He's like so
Grab
excited.
the microphone, Dana.
Yeah, and he's so excited about it. But I'll just tell you that for me, this song, when I very first heard it in probably junior high school, I can't remember when it came out, expressed God's love for us. So. Uh-oh, stop. I must have turned down the sound. Yeah. Oh.
I didn't do it. Honest God. She did it. She did it.
She swears she didn't do it.
She did it.
We love you anyway.
It'll be a funky feedback.
Said perfectly imperfect.
And around the sun, the earth knows she's revolving, and the rosebuds know to bloom in early May. As hate knows love's the cure, you can rest your mind assured that I'll be loving you always. As now can't reveal the mystery of tomorrow, but in passing we'll grow older every day. Just as kindness knows no shame, know through all your joy and pain, that I'll be loving you always, until the rainbow bursts, the stars out in the sky, always, until the ocean covers every mountain high, always, until the dolphins fly and parrots live at sea, until we dream of life and life becomes a dream. Did you know that true love asks for nothing? Her acceptance is the way we pay. Did you know that life is giving love a guarantee to last forever and another day? Just as time knew to move on since the beginning. Just as all is born is new, you know what I say is true, that I'll be loving you always. And today I know I'm living, but tomorrow could make me the past, but that I mustn't fear. For I know deep in my mind the love of me I left behind, 'cause I'll be loving you always. Yes, always, always, always. Until the rainbow burns the stars out in the sky. Until the ocean covers every mountain high. Until the dolphins fly and parrots live at sea. Until we dream of life and life becomes a dream. Until the day that 8 times 8 times 8 is 4. Until the day that is the day that are no more. Until the day the earth starts turning right to left. Until the earth just for the sun denies itself. Until the mother nature says her work is through. Until the day that you are me and I am you. Yes, I'm loving you always. Always.
Wow. Thank you. Frankie, you want me to introduce you? I know you're so anxious to get up there, but I'm just going to do it all.
Oh, you can
You
introduce
watch
me.
it. I'm going to do it all. Ooh.
Fun in life.
It was so exciting. I would now like to introduce my brother, Frank Mastoris, who did spend a week with in Charleston. Well, I'm not going to tell you that. Frank was raised Catholic, and as he grew, he felt more determined to find an experience of the divine of God. He felt this overriding desire to find God, and he began to explore his spirituality using prayer, meditation, the Bible, and the Rosary as a means of exploring his spirituality. He had this experience of feeling overwhelmingly connected to God and being loved, which I don't know how anybody can love anybody.
Thank you.
Though he did not realize it, he felt as if he was love itself. So Frank has been involved in religious science since 1992. I mean, I was like 10 years old then. Oh. And he's been a licensed practitioner since 2014. He is a traveling health professional who's gotten to visit many religious science churches throughout the country. I introduce to you our speaker today.
Got me there. I'm just gonna say we gotta have fun in life, and it was getting deep. Okay,
Put on your hip boots.
I won't. Okay. I'm gonna start with a statement about this sermon. This sermon is very personal. It's about a period of my life when I really had to trust God. And I want to give you just a little background on how prayer works here. We'll be having a class called Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life after the Mystical Path class we have, which will give you some basic background. I think we're having that one. Yeah, which will give you a little basic background about religious science. In our belief, prayer is, of course, the process of communicating with the divine within. And we believe that we are one with God. And because we're connected with God, the divine's always hearing our thoughts and our prayers and our feelings. It is so connected to us that we just aren't aware of it. So whatever we put out there in the universe, if we say, I'm having a bad day, it's going to happen. You said that was your prayer. If you say I'm having a great day, that's your prayer. Every thought you think, every feeling you feel is your prayer. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't spiritually bypass and not feel your feelings. You need to feel your feelings to move through whatever you're experiencing. But you really have to be mindful of what your thoughts are. And how this works is through the creative process. We're part of that process. That'll be delved more into in classwork if you're interested. And we're part of that ever-expanding presence of God. God is always evolving. As we grow and change, and we are part of God, God is also evolving with us. As all of life is evolving, as the planet is evolving, the animals are changing. Everything is in constant motion because we know that change is the only constant in the universe. And with that, the whole planet and life is evolving. On the God level, God thinks and creates out of itself. And it creates things like the stars, the trees, the planets, and even us, even though we know there's a process for us to come into form, okay? But life is always evolving, always expressing one way or another. And on the human level, we think and we feel in our conscious mind, and our thinking becomes part of our subconscious mind, and then God will manifest that for us. And there's a lot of terms for the subconscious mind. That's the most basic way I could bring it down and break it down to you guys. I'm trying to avoid all the jargon as much as possible to make it easier. And all of life is expressed and expanding on all levels. And today, so I'm going to talk to you about this. This is about the power of prayer. A place in my life when I really needed God to happen and God's prayer to work. In 2018, I'm an intensive care nurse. I was at home and I was working, and I'd just come off a really grueling series of days at work. I was working nights and I got up around 2 p.m. and I got a call from my sister-in-law. And she said to me, crying, that my brother had had a heart attack and I needed to come home now, immediately. She was crying and I got distraught and I kind of lost it for a little bit, but then I did the only thing I really knew that I could do. I prayed. I prayed. And I cried and I prayed and I started to pack and I called my husband, whom I love, and he came home from work because he was working. And I was in complete grief. I didn't know what to do because this is my brother, my only brother and my twin brother. So it hits me a little harder because he's my only brother and my twin brother. We didn't know what we were going to do. I mean, we didn't know if we were going home for him to heal or for a funeral. Because it was, when she was calling, it seemed that bad. So when Charles got home, we thought about it, we prayed, and he said, maybe we need to wait and leave the next morning, because it was late by the time I got home. It was like 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And we thought if we would be driving all night, and it wasn't going to do us any good to have an accident and try to pack and all that. I couldn't sleep, so I spent pretty much the whole night up, and I'm sure he barely slept, if at all. Because you know when your spouses, you kind of knock at each other, you toss and turn, it's like, boom, it all goes. Okay, and you don't sleep much when your spouse isn't sleeping. And in the car, I prayed the whole way to Ohio as Charles drove. And for those of you who may not know, the section of Ohio I'm from is about 5.5 hours. So we pretty much drove the whole straight through, and usually we stopped, but we didn't really even stop. And we arrived at the hospital he was in, which is about an hour from where my family was from, because that was the closest hospital that he was working at. He was an industrial painter. He was a guy who paints towers and bridges and all that kind of stuff, industrial work. And when we got there, we found he had heart surgery and he had survived, which I was very grateful for. What I didn't know at the time was that because of the heart attack, my brother's heart had stopped. He died. And they did CPR on him, and they were able to get him back. And I consider this to be a miracle because what you don't know is CPR at the very best is only 25% effective. Meaning if you're in a hospital, in an emergency room with IVs in you and IV fluids and medications right there, it's only 25% effective at best. So I consider that to be my first miracle out of all this, that he survived his heart stopping. So we got my brother through that. He got through the surgery, and then they let him go from the hospital, and they did what they started doing cardiac rehab. Cardiac rehab is where they send you to a place and put you on a monitor, and they have you exercise to start building up your strength and your resistance, which he went to. And as he was going through cardiac rehab, they began to realize he wasn't getting any better. And that started to scare me. They wanted to send him to a pulmonologist, a lung doctor, because as an industrial painter, at that point, no one cared about industrial painters. They would send them and they would be exposed to sand and lead and paint, and the OSHA didn't care. They didn't really care if you lived or died at that point. They still hadn't gotten their act together on that part of the industrial thing until they started getting multiple disability claims. Then they started getting their act together and started demanding masks and oxygen and the whole bit that weren't there 20 years before when my brother started painting. And then, just as his appointment was about to happen, COVID hit. And everything shut down. The doctor's offices shut down. Everything but, as you know, everything but the hospitals and food supply shut down. And some pharmacy. And I had to start praying even more because I had to hang on to knowing that he was going to be okay. Then as COVID started to let up, he found out his appointment not only had been postponed, but the doctor that he was going to see moved. And he had to get another pulmonologist, and he was in an area that doesn't have a lot of pulmonologists, a lot of doctors. Not like here in DC where we have tons of doctors. You're lucky if you can find a pulmonologist there or a neurologist. It's a kind of a rural area. So he finally found another doctor and got another appointment, but that took another year to get. I had to pray through that. Then he lost his insurance because he was only given so much insurance after the disability. And then I had to pray through him getting insurance because he was saying, I can't afford insurance. I'm living on disability. So I had to pray through that. Then when he found that doctor and got an appointment, it still took a year to get to see the doctor, and I had to pray through that. What you didn't know was that because of all the lung damage he had, he was dying. His fingers were turning purple. His ears were turning purple. His nose was turning purple from the lack of oxygen. And I had to pray through that. I had to turn and I had to fight every fear in me. And I got to tell you, some days the fear won. And some days I kicked the fear's butt. Okay? When he finally got a chance to see the doctor, the doctor realized that he was way too sick and they needed to put him on the lung transplant list. And to get on the lung transplant list, he had to go through all kinds of testing, which took another year. And finally, in February of 2025, he got on, no, in May of 2023, sorry. May of, May of
Talk about getting
2023.
ahead of yourself.
Yeah. May of 2023, on a Friday, he got put on the lung transplant list. And I had to pray through that, and I had to keep turning away from my fears that he was going to die on me. Monday, that very next Monday, he got called. There was a set of lungs available.
Wow.
And if you know anything about the transplant list, people go on the list and they die before an organ ever comes available. So on Monday, he got called in, and by Wednesday, he got the lung transplant. And I consider that to be a miracle in and of itself, because I love my brother. I want him to be around. There are times I like every relationship. Sometimes you want to kill people. Sometimes I want to kill them too, okay? But I love him, and some days I want to kill him. But that's every relationship. When we really pray and we really believe, miracles are the norm. They're not something that just happens to somebody. They are the norm in our lives. Ernest Holmes reminds us that what we focus on when we want our prayer, and we have to keep focusing on it. A lot of times in life, we'll pray about something. We'll go, I want this, I want that. And guess what? When we don't have the ATM God just dump it in our laps immediately, we stop praying. God's not an ATM. God always says yes, but God says yes in its time, not our time. And we tend to get impatient, and then we stop praying. Prayer requires persistence in doing it, and consistency in belief. We have to be persistent and consistent in what we believe, and persistent in praying. There were days I just looked at God and said, I'm not going to take no for an answer, period. Sometimes I can be like that. And my husband will tell you, sometimes I'm stubborn. He's laughing out there. And ultimately, we have to always know that God will give us what we pray about, or something better. Ernest Holmes stated in The Science of Mind, if you don't know the truth in your time of need, then you never knew the truth at all. Knowing what you want is knowing the truth, that God will say yes. Knowing what you want is knowing the truth that it's there, that you are part of it, that it's going to happen, that you're going to get what you want, and you have to be persistent and consistent with it. But I do have to warn you, you also have to be patient. And I don't know about you, but that's not a pretty word to me. Patience is an ugly word, okay? I am not patient. So I have to work on that. In religious science, we know that we are inseparable from God, and all good and all possibility is in God, and in God alone. And oneness is the truth of our lives. And in our declaration of principle, we believe in God, this living, it goes like this. Well, let me step back. In this one life we call God, by whatever name you want to call it, He has chosen to express Himself through all of us. We are all individualized expressions of that one life, whether we accept it or don't. That's our truth. In our Declaration of Principles, we believe that God is that living experience. It's indestructible, it's absolute, and it exists. It manifests through all creation. Literally, it manifests through a tree. It's manifesting in the chair you are. It's manifesting in the very air you're breathing.
It's there. Just as humans, our perception is so limited that we don't have that ability to see it. But it's the truth of life. We are part of it, inseparable from that life that's always expressing. I want you to consider this possibility. A lot of times we have a vision of what we want for our life. And we'll go, okay, I want this. In the smallness, we block the better. I have a vision. I will share this with you. I've had this call to be minister since I was 20. I'm 64 now, and I'm finally going for it because I finally it took a long while for me to get the faith to go there. My vision was so small, I couldn't see how I could make it. And through the love of my beautiful husband helping me now to move forward with my vision, I can move forward with it. But my vision was so small, I couldn't see that I could have the life that I wanted and do the work that I wanted to do. Because my vision was small, and so was my faith and my trust. And maybe it's taken me a while to get here, and I'm glad I'm here. So I'm going to ask you to think about your life, what you want, and think bigger. If you have a vision of a house, think bigger. If you have a vision of a certain amount of money, think bigger. If you want a child, think about the child for the best option of what you want for that child. If you want grandkids, think about that child as having the best life possible, bigger than you could ever dream for them. Dream bigger. God evolves through. We are part of that evolution of God, and God is calling each of us to evolve. As I like to say, God gives a gift of itself to itself. Everything we give to each other is God's love. Everything we give is God. And since we're all God, we're giving God, and everything is God, we're giving God to itself. Next time you think about arguing, just remember you're giving God to God. Oh, that's a bad joke. That's a really bad joke. Sorry, guys. I was sure I have bad dad jokes. Okay.
That was bad. But it was good. It was so bad it was good.
Yeah, it was so bad it was good. Yeah. Okay, so I would just want to say I love you all. Thank you all for the very gift of each and every one of you. Thank you for being with us. I love you all. And think bigger.
It was great. Sometimes I have trouble getting back into host mode after trying to think about message. But I do want to say, if you want prayer, I always say this at the end of service, but if you want prayer, you can go online on our website any time, put in a request for prayer, and one of our practitioners, who are Mary Ann, Frank, and Dana, will get back to you and pray with you. And if you really want to engage in prayer on an ongoing basis, I would encourage you to get a prayer partner and make a date. Every Friday morning at 10 o'clock, we're going to be on the phone or online, and we're going to pray together. It's powerful. It's powerful, and it can bring such meaning. And what I love about the prayer in Science of Mind is that we are not asking for anything. We are declaring it's already there. We're declaring it's already here. It's in this room. It's in our environment. We just need to open ourselves up to to it. That's an entirely different way than I was taught to pray as a child. So I think it's very empowering. So thank you again for inspiring me to think about that, Frank. My next duty as your host, is to find my script so I can open it up. That would help. Got real little. Nancy, did you do that? You're the little person. Did you make my script little? Here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore, we practice conscious giving. It's not just giving because you're obligated to do it or you feel like the community needs your money or anything like that. You should give consciously, knowing that the money that you're giving helps operate a community that not only supports the people in this room, but we will be doing outreach into the community in the very near future. Right? Those people people earlier had asked me about blessing bags. They were supposed to be done in February. They did not get done. They will be done in March. So I would be glad to take contributions, either monetarily or items that will go into the blessing bag, and those items are listed on the website. This conscious giving is called dana. And in Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, dana is the practice, I love this term, cultivating generosity. Providing the nourishment and the treatment and the sunlight and everything to grow and cultivate generosity. That's the way I think about it. And it can take the form of giving to those in need, like the blessing bags, giving to a community, giving to where you are spiritually fed. Where you're spiritually fed. Where do you find the spirit within you? What initiates that for you? So as we gather today in the spirit of love and fellowship, we are mindful of the profound impact of conscious giving, dana. And as we give, we receive. So if you're putting your money into that basket, I want you to know that you're not only giving money, but you're receiving the power of that money in the ongoing operation of this community. You're receiving that power of that money in that we are a community who cares for and loves each other. You are feeling the power of that money, and I have no problems with money. You know, this whole live in poverty, no, honey. I don't think that's what God wanted. I sincerely do not believe that is the case. We are meant to be abundant. So there are a few ways to practice conscious giving and your support of our community. You can find them on the donate page on our website, and you can use PayPal or Giveify or text, or you can just send me a check in the mail. I have no problems with checks in the mail. So my address is listed on the website. Thank you all for giving. I really appreciate that. Well, now let's see.
Robin?
Ma'am,
Blessing.
we're going to bless it. Yes, we are.
Bless the basket.
Let me get to the part of our financial wealth and abundance, and then we'll bless that.
Okay.
Okay. So together, as a community, Nancy, if you bring the offerings up here, let us declare our financial wealth and abundance. I joyfully, consciously, and gratefully. Do you want to repeat after me, or do you want to say?
No.
Nope. Do you have
Repeat after you.
Okay. I joyfully, consciously, and gratefully. I joyfully, consciously, and gratefully participate in the law of circulation.
Participate in the law of circulation.
I trust in the spiritual principle
I trust in the spiritual principle
that says, as I sow into my beloved community, I demonstrate my awareness
demonstrate my awareness
of standing not only in the flow,
of standing right in the flow,
but as the flow itself. As I sow of my time as I sow my treasure, my talent, I demonstrate my support and engagement in my community's vision, mission, and purpose. I actively give as a demonstration of manifesting, of reaping the harvest of a world that works for all.
Works for all.
I think I broke that up pretty.
Ashe.
Amen. And so it is. Miss Dana, can you play some music for another or sing or it's community sing? Oh, we've been waiting for this. We've been talking about this. About how much I forget. Do I need that to broadcast?
Yeah.
Rats. About no, then I have to hold it close to my mouth. That makes me crazy. Okay. Anyway, we've been talking about this, how much we miss singing in church. So today we're going to sing a community song, very easy song by Michael Gott. It's called I Release and I Let Go. Frank will lead us because he's got a much nicer voice than I do.
No,
But-
she's got a fabulous voice.
Go, brother. Let's go. You got some music? No? Okay.
No, because I asked you earlier what was the song.
I-
Okay, well,
No, let me tell you the lyrics. I release and I let go. Release and I let go. Spirit. Is it?
okay. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more trouble, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Can we circle up and have our closing prayer?
Yes.
Come on up, everybody. I don't bite. Oh, thank you. Oh, but I'll get you later for that one.
Keep moving around, keep moving around. And as soon as we get set up.
Cool. He's just standing on there. He's not going to be electric.
Yeah.
He's pretty electrifying.
And in all things, we want to give thanks. I know the truth of God is all there is, expressed in this beautiful, loving community, expressed in each and every one of you in this space, that the very power of God moves hand to hand and heart to heart, loving each and every person here. I know that as we step out into our daily lives today, I know that we take forth the power, the presence, the call, the understanding, and that love and peace itself. Knowing that as we move into our week, that goes forward with us. And for that, I'm grateful. And I release this knowing it's done in mind, and so it is.
So it is.
If anyone needs prayer, I am available to now. Also, if you want a breakdown of jargon, if I got too jargony, I tried to keep it very simple, as well as less jargon as possible. Talk to me. Okay.
And some people may, if you're hungry, because it's almost lunchtime, a group are going to the Cheesecake Factory.
Yes.
To the Cheesecake Factory at Towson Town Center. So please feel free to join us for lunch. It would be great. What's that, honey?
Is that still open?
Oh, yeah, I was there because like 3 months
Oh, I'm
ago.
thinking of PF Chang's.
No,
no.
he's getting back in South Carolina.
It's not Chinese this time.
Thank you, everybody at home, for joining us. Thank you, everybody here, for being here today. I know I get a little silly, but sometimes I just get a little wound up, and I like that. And if I can tell you the simple parts of this teaching. I've been doing this for 8 years. And that first class I took, when they started talking this jargon, I'm like, what the? And so I kind of make it is pretty simple stuff. You change your thinking, you'll change your life. Yeah. Love y'all.
So how many people think they're gonna go to the Cheesecake Factory with us, so we could possibly call ahead? Because it's kind of a crowded place.